Hey, what's up, mafias? Welcome back to the commute. And in this podcast, I'm joined by Anmol. He works as a product manager in Felicity Games. So this will be some interesting and very different from what we are used to. We'll be talking about product. We'll be talking about gaming. We'll be talking about app mobile games and its industry. So this will be a little bit of tangent from Android development, but it will be an interesting session. I hope you guys really enjoy it. And if you're into game development, this will be something that you wanted. And for now, let's get started. I usually start off this podcast by asking this one simple question with every guest. How do you define stable life for yourselves?
Oh, stable life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Interesting question. Because generally, like when you are busy in your work, you don't think a lot about what your stable life should look like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just to clarify this regarding personal life and work life both, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like, I think it comes down to individuals' preferences. I've seen a lot of people like so being like having worked in early stage startups. I've seen like people work for 12, 13 hours and then also having a right state of mind to come back again next day, work another 13 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, for some folks, it becomes like you do 8 hours, you go back home, relax, come back again with the same energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, probably stable life is something like that comes down to one's preferences.
Mm-hmm.
What, like, with regards to what you really want in life, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's basically balancing like work and personal life both.
Mm-hmm.
You spend time with your family, you spend time with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I personally am a like very avid gamer myself.
Mm-hmm.
So like I generally on after work, like probably I would spend 1 2 hours playing some either some board games or some games on Steam with like some of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps me like relax and
Yeah.
just cool down after work.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say
Yeah.
that's one thing that brings stability to like my daily routine. Apart
Mm-hmm.
from just having normal conversation with my parents, my wife, every day,
Mm-hmm.
like just
Mm-hmm.
we just sit around for half an hour, 45 minutes to talk about our days and maybe even playing some games with them as well.
Mm-hmm. That seems interesting approach because I've seen that. I always first of all ask this question to everyone because I've interviewed founders, I've interviewed employees. I try to interview all of these people and try to ask this particular question because it, generates a very good image of how they see their work.
Mm.
A lot of people will work hard and destroy their whole health just because of their work, and they tend to not value stability as a lot, but eventually down the line they have to value their health because their problems then their health problems. So yeah, stability is one of the most amazing things, and
Yeah,
again the definitions would change if a founder values stable money. I don't think so that there'll be a founder. It would be most probably an employee, and
yeah,
the founders value freedom over anything else, and that's how the stages of life are, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Uh,
also think that like the definition of your stability will change as you go. I mean, like in my early 20s when I had started Tap Studios along with my friends,
mhm,
we were not looking for stability. We were looking for more ways to do something unique, more ways to earn money at
mhm,
like,
mhm,
or trying to I mean, more ways to earn money. We still even look at it now, but
mhm,
like at that time, we would not think a lot about spending time with your families or something like that. But
mhm,
I think like once you like over past few years after I like crossed 28, 29, I
mhm,
think I started valuing that much more.
Mm-hmm.
uh, being able to spend time with family and friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so probably with as you grow older, I think it becomes much more important.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I 100% agree. I think most of the people who grow older and they tend to go towards more stability over freedom because they have family. They tend to value relationships more over money. And yeah, when you're young, I think so. It's time to hustle and
Yeah,
create something new in this world. And that's what I think most of the entrepreneurial spirit value.
yeah.
um that's what I think, at least. Other than that, you talked about games a lot. Do you have any specific favorite games that you play on Steam?
Okay, so like one of my most favorite games is Stardew Valley that I play on Steam very regularly with uh, few of my friends.
Mm.
Apart from that, I play a lot of indie games on Steam.
Mm.
Uh, there's a game called Papers, Please, which I really like playing.
Mm.
It's a very simple but unique game. Uh,
Mm.
I would recommend that to everyone.
Mm.
Uh, Apart from that, there's one game. Uh, actually, let me find the name. Yeah, apart from that, I do keep playing Red Dead Redemption.
Mm.
Uh, and then there are games like Firewatch
Mm.
or Far Cry that I
Mm.
like playing.
I personally, like, I haven't played a lot of not of games because I didn't have that much money to purchase these games. But
Yeah.
whatever money I had, I played some of these games and I really liked them. For example, my favorite game would be Metro Exodus, and
Mm.
I really liked that game. I still have that. Um,
Yeah.
I usually go for competitive games like Overwatch. I really liked it. I used
Mm.
to play it a lot. Um, then one of my favorite, I really like horror games as well.
Oh.
For example, Jacksepticeye plays this Chilla's
Mm.
Art. It's a very great series of games. Fears to
Yeah.
Fathom is one of my favorite series of games. I really love those games.
Mm. Mm.
And
Good.
yeah, I think the multiple, I think so, games as such, it's a very I think it's very different in how we view games in Indian society as compared to the others, because games aren't seen as a way of relaxation in Indian society. I think so that's a very um, weird approach towards things, because
Mm.
I've seen that. You can come back from your work and watch Netflix, but if you're watching Squid Games, it might stress you out even more than work. So, like, I think games would be much better to play when you're trying
Yeah.
to recuperate after work. But somehow that doesn't crosses anyone's mind, and that's very weird for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
as you said, spending time with your family and playing games, that would be something I think everybody should have a little in their life, because even if you're playing Uno or small games there, it will
Mm.
definitely create a much better bonds than
Yeah.
just watching TV series together or just using mobile together.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like we have basically formed a habit with my parents and like my wife. At least like once every alternate days, we would play some card games with
Mm-hmm.
each other,
Mm-hmm.
or we would play some board games because I have a lot of collection of board games as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we would play this, like games like Ticket to Ride or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, like post dinner every night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even like when you are talking about basically games online, I
Mm-hmm.
think there are like lot of games which are cozy games and which are relaxing games,
Mm-hmm.
which basically uh, like because our lives have become so much stressful,
Mm-hmm.
it helps you relax like very much.
Mm-hmm.
Like games like Stardew Valley or Sugar Dew Island or
Mm-hmm.
these kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if a lot of people play it in India. I'm sure like India, there's very uh, less number of like even active gamers who would be playing that
Mm-hmm.
these kind of games. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, these games are designed such that like they will help you relax with the
Mm-hmm.
storyline or with regards to the music, colors, and game design in itself.
Mm-hmm. I tend to see games as something super relaxing because it takes your mind completely off your work, completely off what you're thinking,
Yeah,
and that does not happen when you're watching movies until unless it's some kind of hera fairy movie.
yeah,
But yeah, I see games as something that once in a while everyone should enjoy, yeah, and if they
yeah,
haven't tried it, they should try it. That's what my approach is. Yeah. What's your story? Well, I've seen your LinkedIn. I think so. You passed out as a mechanical engineer, and
yeah,
then you got into this industry of game development, then became a product
yeah.
lead. I think. What's your story? How did you get there, in this part of industry?
Yeah. So basically, I have always been a huge this thing. I always had a huge passion for machines.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I went into mechanical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
But like, uh, I mean, right between our second year of engineering, second or third. So
Mm-hmm.
me and like along with a couple of other colleagues, like not colleagues, basically friends from my 11th standard, 12th standard.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, like we decided to start a game. We decided to like start making games,
Mm-hmm.
and we started this small company called Gameon.
Mm-hmm.
And over there, we basically were making mobile games purely out of our passion for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
We developed like I think close to 20-30 games. We we were good developers of mobile games, but we did not know how to market those games very effectively back then. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
it's like around 2012 or 13. We made games around like different Indian themes as well. We had a kite flying game which was
Mm-hmm.
very popular back then, and I think uh, Google had even featured one of those games
Mm-hmm.
in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I like came about uh, in the gaming industry. And later, like we basically, uh, uh, me along with like a couple of other friends, we started this company called TapCube Studios, where
Mm-hmm.
we realized that like there is a huge potential in the distribution side of games. Because
Mm-hmm.
earlier when we were making games, we were not thinking much on the distribution side. It was just like let's make games, let's put it on Play Store
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Later when we start like post graduation, when I realized that like okay, this can't continue forever, we have to
Mm-hmm.
learn how to make money from games. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when we started looking after different avenues of where we could like earn money through games.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we started TapCube Studios, which was basically like we were distributing games across various platforms.
Mm-hmm.
These are like mobile network platforms. Like before Geo
Mm-hmm.
came in, like you would see that like Airtel would send you a message sending download games or something like that. Some sort of that uh, system used to work. It's called mobile VAS, value added services.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we found an opportunity, and we like in I think we started in 2016, and
Mm-hmm.
by 2018 we had like close to 60 70 distribution partners
Mm-hmm.
where we were distributing like most of our games. And
Mm-hmm.
we also started like developing games in house, like or like span of 2 years we are developed close to let's say 60 to 70 casual games. These are
Mm-hmm.
very hyper casualish games,
Mm-hmm.
and all of these games were on web HTML5 games basically.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't need to like even download these games. You would just go to some link through Airtel and you would start playing these games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we basically start like I would say we shifted full time into gaming over those like past 2 years, like 2016 to 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, In 2018, we basically even saw that, like, basically, since our games are being played by such a huge, like, volume of users,
Mhm.
why not, like, bring one app with multiple games
Mhm.
that could be, distributed over Play Store. And on top of that, because we were focusing only on India at that time,
Mhm.
we decided to add some real money element
Mhm.
inside that app.
Mhm.
And that app was basically acquired by Loco, because, like,
Mhm.
uh, 2018, 2019 was like a time when, like, RNG games and
Mhm.
apps were picking up significantly.
Mhm.
So post that, like, me and, like, the entire team, we moved on to Loco. Over there, I used to look after product growth for a couple of years.
Mhm.
Uh, Eventually, like, at Loco, we underwent couple of iterations of the product as well. We pivoted from gaming to streaming product,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is what you see right now. Uh,
Mhm.
like, in 2021, basically, like, I moved from Loco to So Strong,
Mhm.
which was basically another RMG platform,
Mhm.
which is, like, owned by Dream11.
Mhm.
So Strong was also, like, it is basically your tournament platform for mid-core gamers.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah, and, like, sometime last year, I think, like, I basically joined Felicity Games.
Mhm.
Uh, so wanting to get back into, like, actual game design,
Mhm.
I joined Felicity.
Mhm. It seems interesting. Like, you're into development side right now, or in
So I'm
product
into
management?
product side. Yeah,
Product. Okay. See, super inspiring journey again. Because I love people who start to found start into entrepreneurship, because a very few people delve into that. A lot of people are just solving lead code DSA questions and trying to get big tech jobs in Meta or Facebook. But that's the thing. I think most people should focus on, especially in India, their careers into entrepreneurship, because that will create even better jobs in the future, and a better product that will undergo a lot of growth. That will help a lot of people in the future. That's what my thinking is. When it comes to like, as you said, that you developed 80s 70 around casual games, are all of them still in the market, or have they been taken down right now?
no, they, like, right now, I don't think you'll be able to find those games on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, we were doing it with, like, distribution partners who would go into, like, so the games would go into telecom operators portals,
Mm-hmm.
and that entire industry itself, like, I think post uh, Geo coming in, like,
Mm-hmm.
by 2018, that entire industry died down.
Mm-hmm.
The distribution side of things got evolved into some different business models in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So, like, right now, the games, the main, I think so, the casual games are mostly playable on the Play Store, and most
right.
more focused on apps as such. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the gaming industry itself, like, shifted significantly to Play Store and App Stores over, like, last, I'd say, 5 6 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, I've seen like Felicity doing small, I think so, casual games as well. When
Yeah.
I searched their website, I think so, there was solitaire games, and there was this seek and find game, I
Yeah.
guess. uh like, are they producing large scale Steam games, like maybe Raji? I think so, that's an Indian game. um
Yeah.
uh, are they producing that, or they are going towards mobile apps as such?
No, so our focus at Felicity right now is completely mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's basically on more so on the publishing side of things as compared to, like, even developing games in-house.
Mm-hmm.
We work with, like, a lot of different game studios who are developing their games. We
Mm-hmm.
help them publish their games because we like have developed good expertise in the UA side of business, and we have got a good distribution network ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where basically the that's a business that we are in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seems interesting. Like when it comes to product growth and like Felicity, like how's your day to day job goes like? What do you do in your job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I mean like right now I'm looking after the solitaire game
Mm-hmm.
and couple of other games as well, but mainly on the solitaire side of things. So
Mm-hmm.
daily, basically, I would start by looking at the metrics for past day, past week,
Mm-hmm.
and if there is any drastic change in those metrics, like
Mm-hmm.
whether retention or session times yesterday, or maybe it been falling day over day or week over week.
Mm-hmm.
If that's been happening, like I'll try to do an RC on what could be the reasons behind some of the
Mm-hmm.
metrics falling.
Mm-hmm.
We look at like few more metrics apart from just your basic retention
Mm-hmm.
and uh, session times as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we like across the board any metrics that is uh, falling. The first thing is to start looking at it and analyzing this.
Mm-hmm.
Why could it be falling?
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, like weekly we would look at what LTV per user we are at right now.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the next set of experiments that we want to do within those games,
Mm-hmm.
and how those experiments would impact like our current LTV or like current projections.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's how like most of my day to day goes with regards to working on the product. Apart from that, like generally
Mm-hmm.
because like we are in the publishing business, I need to work closely with the UA team as well,
Mm-hmm.
uh, trying to see what kind of campaigns or what kind of channel we are working at, and if
Mm-hmm.
it's anything specific that's required on that part of things.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to like gaming industry in India, when it comes to casual gaming in India, what's your perspective here? Like I think there's a very good market for casual gaming in US and Europe, but
Yeah,
I don't know about Indian market. What's your perspective here?
yeah, I think the Indian market is still like very early right now. It's slightly evolving. We
Mm-hmm.
are much better than where we were like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, People today are doing transactions in casual games,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't think would be happening in like 2018-19 period.
Mm-hmm.
So from that lens, if I see like we have come a long way,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, there's good opportunity in terms of distribution in India.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like the business side of things, I would say like India still has a long way to go,
Mm-hmm.
because what you see, the kind of revenues that like you could get from US or other Western countries,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like the Indian market is still very negligible right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess it's because of awareness. That only few people know about such games, and I think it's much more that um, games are seen as a kind of a taboo. I don't know
Hmm.
why, but they're not seen as favorable in a child's hand.
Yeah.
um I don't know why it happens, but that's a thing.
Yeah.
What's your thinking around that?
No, so I think like if you take any of the top like 100 games on Play Store,
Mm-hmm.
right from Candy Crush to your PUBGs,
Mm-hmm.
a lot like significant percentage of their downloads would be coming from India. I'd
Mm-hmm.
say close to maybe 10 or in some cases even 15-20%
Mm-hmm.
of these downloads would be from India.
Mm-hmm.
But the contributing revenue would be maybe less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the adoption in terms of uh, time is there.
Mm-hmm.
in games. But I
Mm-hmm.
think like people are yet to start spending money on games because like for us Indians, I would say uh, uh, basically we have always viewed games as something free to play.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we have never gone and realized that games. So if you would historically check the Western market,
Mm-hmm.
like for them, like uh, purchasing and buying games has been there like since a long time. Say
Mm-hmm.
since like maybe 1980s or 90s,
Mm-hmm.
where they would go out and buy your CDs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that came to India very late,
Mm-hmm.
where people started actually buying like CDs for playing games actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in that sense, maybe like we are still a lot behind as compared
Mm-hmm.
to uh, most of the Western markets.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of your time spent, or in terms of your like actual engagement on games,
Mm-hmm.
probably India is one of the leading countries right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, that's what you say in product, like, right? Like, if a product is for free, then basically you are the product.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I think, uh, like, maybe with Indians, this mindset is still there. Uh, like 1 hour of I'm getting something to play for free for 1 hour. Then why should I spend on the games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think so. This mindset is still there in almost every form of entertainment,
yeah,
because I've seen that that people tend to value when it comes to movies as well. If we try to look at really good movies,
yeah.
the people don't tend to value movies out of just their story, but
Correct.
rather with just it's a movie, let's watch it and yeah, be done with it. And they do not care about a movie, how much for example, um Oppenheimer, one of the most amazing movies there out there, but not a lot of people would have watched it in India, because it takes a lot to actually understand what goes into this movie. But again, I think so mindsets are changing, and as the new budget came out, I think so the tax slabs have slowed,
Correct.
become more tangible, and I think so free flowing money would be there,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that will again boost the industry. um,
definitely. Yeah, yeah. I think the with the new budget, like I hope people's disposable income goes up
hmm,
significantly,
hmm,
and that would probably lead to at least some flow of that disposable income going into the entertainment industry as well.
hmm, 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 hmm. I
Yeah.
guess yeah, that's the thing. Where do you view the future mobile gaming market as such in India? Like where is it headed according to you?
In India, I think it's very difficult to say where it is heading in India
Hmm.
because on one hand you have like 100 million players who are playing PUBG at some point.
Hmm.
On one hand you have like another 200 million players playing like games like Ludo King, Candy Crush.
Hmm. Hmm.
So probably the diversity of Indians and the kind of population that we have, it's very difficult to estimate where like Indian mobile gaming market would be headed over next
Hmm.
few years.
Hmm.
Uh, but if I have to take a bet, I would say
Hmm.
uh, probably some sort of. I mean, the next Candy Crush or next Ludo King would
Hmm.
be something where like Indian industry could be headed, or
Hmm.
maybe something around cricket because
Hmm.
uh, India being a like
Man, yeah.
cricket nation, cricketing nation, so games related to cricket always have a lot of scope in India.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
I agree. I think so. This revolves around how people are aware about certain situations and what they're willing to spend their time on when it comes to entertainment. Um, I think the mobile industry as such would be amazing to work on because it's very easy to access. People still don't have very capable um, laptops to own up to go into Red Dead Redemption and maybe
Yeah,
play GTA 6 somewhere. But when it comes to mobile, I think so. Mobiles are getting much faster, and the mobiles have a very booming industry that will definitely boost the mobile gaming industry. That's what I'm thinking, at least.
yeah,
But again, it's a high risk, high reward kind of industry because if you have a really good game, definitely you'll be covering a lot of market. If you do not have any game, if you don't have a good game, definitely be covering no market at all.
yeah.
So that's the things.
I think just building a good game is like maybe 20-30% of the problem solved. Like most of
Hmm.
the times, building a good game is not that difficult as
Hmm.
compared to how difficult the mobile game distribution has become.
Hmm.
Because post, I think the 2022 when Apple stopped the tracking thing,
Hmm.
the post IDFA world basically became
Hmm.
very challenging for mobile game publishers and developers.
Hmm.
Because then, like, so what has happened is that, like, over past couple of years, the organic user acquisition has completely died down.
Hmm.
Whatever is there out there is basically paid user acquisition.
Hmm.
You now like need to start spending significant amount of money
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
you want to acquire new users.
Hmm.
The bids have increased like significantly.
Hmm.
Uh, Apart from that, like there are uh, the number of developers and publishers are like just rising over year and year.
Hmm.
So the competition in like terms of acquiring users has increased significantly.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So I think that has become one of the most challenging part of mobile game industry over last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Here comes the influence, the market of building a personal brand. Because I've seen that when it comes to personal branding, like Gary Minati or people like Gamer Fleet, these people will be pushing games into the homes much more than what user acquisition by ads can do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my thinking is, at least. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um,
I think that is like uh, probably only the case only in India,
mm-hmm.
and that too with maybe a very hardcore game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, like no, it uh, basically it doesn't happen very well with like the casual and hybrid casual side of mobile games.
Mhm,
Probably it could be happening with a game like Free Fire or BGMI.
mhm,
But apart from that, not many games have even seen success with like partnering up with streamers or like these kind of content creators.
mhm, mhm, mhm. It might change in the future, but I think again that we are the nation of people. We tend to believe in people more than anything else.
Yeah,
So that's what my hope for is. If the industry is going towards that, I think so. Personal branding would be definitely kind of powerful. But yeah, again, somehow get reminded of my favorite games like horror games. Like I really
hmm.
like this one game called Paper Please.
Yeah,
I really loved that game. I really like Fears to Fathom. These games are really really nice. I
hmm.
just want, hopefully, I want that somehow Indian game devs are doing um like releasing games like these on mobile because it will definitely enhance a lot of experience because I haven't seen any Fears to Fathom or Paper Please like games in mobile as of now. Not that I know of, but yeah. Um,
No, so I think so. From what like my understanding of uh, Indian gaming industry is right now
hmm,
is that most likely like the most of the Indian gamers would not like appreciate these kind of games.
hmm,
Like they don't really see the value in a game like Papers, Please. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I go and tell my like 15, 16-year-old cousin to play like games like these, he's
Mm-hmm.
going to like laugh at me saying what kind of game this is, because
Mm-hmm.
he has been playing, yeah, like to be honest, his like upbringing has been by playing games like PUBG, or maybe spending time in Roblox,
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft servers, or Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think like we. I mean, I am not expecting to see these kind of games coming on mobile, especially in India, where India focused theme. At least not for next 5 to 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because uh, it's not just about like creating the game, because creating a game like that would be much simpler as
Mm-hmm.
compared to what the market wants. Because on one side you have your like young teen
Mm-hmm.
audience
Mm-hmm.
who are the ones who would actually be spending money in games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they like are not interested in these kind of games. They want to play on game. They want to play where their friends are hanging out. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why they do not prefer to come out of games like PUBG or Roblox or Minecraft, because
Mm-hmm.
everyone is there. Like Roblox and Minecraft could be the new like. eh, Uh, I mean, Roblox and Fortnite are not just like games. They have evolved much beyond games. They are becoming like a social network in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so probably that is where I would say the industry is headed. So if you
Mm-hmm.
want to like, I would say that if you want to, create such experiences like let's say Papers Please, maybe the next Papers Please would be something that you would see on Roblox next.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I think so. It's like how, as you said, that it requires a certain intellect to understand
Yeah,
why the Papers, Please is what it is, because you need to understand why Papers, Please is working out, what's the history behind it.
yeah,
And I think the European market would have seen World War II somewhere down the line, and they,
correct,
under-
correct.
they understand the story behind Papers, Please and how
Yeah,
the nations work. Not so much within India, but
yeah,
I expect these kind of games because I really value them. And when it comes to stories like these, they really excites me. I think so. It's because um, just because of difference in how people view their intellects and different things. But
yeah,
yeah, I hope for the best for whatever the casual gaming market brings on. I
yeah,
hope they bring something super interesting to watch. But
yeah.
yeah, um,
I think like just on that topic, since you enjoy these kind of narrative games,
hmm.
probably you should play a game called Firewatch.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I
Yeah,
haven't played it. But
yeah,
yeah,
and there's one more game called The Pedestrian. It's
okay.
a puzzle game. It's basically very unique puzzle game and kind of cozy, but also like creates a thrilling atmosphere while
Mm-hmm.
you're solving the puzzles.
Mm-hmm. Super interesting. I'll try them out. Yeah. Other than that, do you have any advice to someone who is just who wants to get started into game development industry, maybe in product, maybe in development? Do you have any advice for someone?
Uh, okay. Yeah, I think so. Last year when I went to IGDC, I saw like a huge crowd of Indian college students who are basically wanting to do something in the games industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I also know that like a lot of colleges have started offering courses on game design, game development, and like basically everything related to the games industry itself.
Mm-hmm.
But most of these projects are more so like passion projects. But I think everyone in the gaming industry starts out like that way itself.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Probably they have like the dream to create the next maybe GTA or the Indian GTA, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how most of the people get into gaming themselves.
Mm-hmm.
uh, so like I would say that like my uh, one advice to like everyone who wants to start out in games is like start small, make small games, know where
Mhm.
your audience is right now,
Mhm.
and the audience for what type of games you want to create.
Mhm.
Probably that would be like uh, uh, worthy advice, I'd say.
Mhm. Mhm. Like, how does the industry finances look like? If we were to say that I'm kind of an indie developer, like in my industry as well as an indie app developer as well, it's very tough to monetize
Yeah,
and earn a lot of money. But when it comes to a certain point, I think so. If you have a good distribution, you definitely will have a lot of money allocated to you. How does the gaming industry's finances work out?
yeah. No, I think as an indie developer, it becomes very difficult unless you have like publisher who is backing your project.
Mm-hmm.
If you are making like I mean again like very big indie projects, then it becomes very difficult to find a publisher as well. If you're
Mm-hmm.
making something small, probably like uh, even bigger brands like Sony or Crafton.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, I'm talking about indie games specifically for Steam.
Mm-hmm.
So probably Sony or Crafton could help publish you.
Mm-hmm.
At least they will be willing to take a look at uh, uh, your project and your roadmap, and if
Mm-hmm.
it is aligning well within their programs,
Mm-hmm.
they definitely like fund it further.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the indie game scene is. It's very tough for indie game developers right now, especially in India, because uh, like as such, like we Indians are very new to gaming in
Mm-hmm.
terms of game development. So there are very few, I would say, indie studios who would be very experienced and would be able to raise funds for their projects.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that's the thing with like indie development. But if you talk about maybe studios or companies that are making products for Indian, like not just games but even gaming products,
Mm-hmm.
there still is a lot of scope out there. There are various, I would say, uh, 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 gaps where different products could be made in India.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to identify that gap in gaming, uh,
Mm-hmm.
then like there's a good chance of like getting at least like a decent starting fund.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like when it comes to releasing a game, how do you even test the idea out? Because I've seen that app development in apps, like if we were to start an indie app, we will usually launch some kind of website, a landing page, and try to bring on target specific target market, and try to understand if they really like the idea or not, and if it actually solves their problem, and then try to get their emails and stuff, and then hopefully when we launch the app and an MVP, we can actually target this kind of audience, or maybe already have some kind of distribution on YouTube. How does this verifying the idea of your game work out in the gaming industry?
Yeah, I think so. Would you be asking for indie games or for mobile games?
I'm asking more of mobile games, but you can talk about both. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think indie games are generally like, I mean, some game designer or developer would like come up with some idea on their own,
Mm-hmm.
and then like they would make a early prototype and probably circulate it amongst different communities on Reddit or Discord,
Mm-hmm.
where like the indie gaming audience is basically. I
Mm-hmm.
think, and then you basically uh, make the full-fledged game. That's how like indie games have been. When it comes to mobile industry, like mobile is basically a very red space right now, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Being in this space itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to start looking at the kind of games that are making money,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of games that would be in trend for next 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
because the mobile games the trends are changing very rapidly. some
Mhm.
sort of games, some genres which were, like active maybe a year back, will not be
Mhm.
active right now. So,
Mhm.
or maybe like 1 year down the line, in this, like what I'm making today might not make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
So, the mobile gaming industry, like I would say before COVID or like post COVID for a couple of years, like probably from 2019 to 2022, the hyper
Mhm.
casual gaming industry saw a huge boom.
Mhm.
Anyone, because like you wouldn't want to build like deeper metas within the game. You
Mhm.
would just simply build a core gameplay loop and
Mhm.
you just release it on
Mhm.
Play Store. Either you self-publish or go with a publisher. But the
Mhm.
hyper casual like industry saw huge boom during this period.
Mhm.
But then, like when the organic downloads started dropping off,
Mhm.
uh, games started shifting their monetize, or I would say publishers started shifting their monetization strategy from just ad-based games to games with in-app purchases.
Mhm.
And now, like before you want to uh, approach building a new game, you
Mhm.
need to start looking at like what kind of games are there in the market that are working right now.
Mhm.
Where is a what genre is something that, like, if you are a small gaming studio, you need
Mhm.
to realize that like what genre is something that I could build expertise in. I could
Mhm.
make maybe 10 games in this genre,
Mhm.
and uh, probably you also want to look at, like, not something uh, uh, where, like, if you are just starting out, you don't want to go and compete with some of the top games out there.
Mhm.
Like, if you say like I'll go and make a game in the match 3 genre, or
Mhm.
probably something like that, let's say. So
Mhm.
in match 3 genres, like the topmost games would see like CPIs of close to maybe 20-30 dollars. So
Mhm.
as a smaller game studio who's making games on mobile, it becomes very difficult to then like go
Mhm.
ahead and start your UA with $25 of CPI budgets.
Mhm.
So probably you want to start looking at like genres where uh, you could have a very reasonable like CPI first,
Mhm.
and then you want to start looking at like what of these, which of these genres is where I could build an expertise in,
Mhm.
which of these genres is something that's like new but will continue the trend for next couple of years.
Mhm.
So then I could make like at least like 3 to 5 games in this genre. So even
Mhm.
if like two or three of them doesn't work out, at least one could work out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I think that it might be that somehow I always think that can we, lower down the barrier of entry into game development without, can we verify the idea without even
Hmm.
making a prototype? That's what my
Yeah.
thinking is. But again, we need a prototype to make some kind of MVP to understand if the game idea really works or not.
Yeah.
And game ideas in itself evolve as we try to develop them.
Hmm.
So yeah, super interesting
I
stuff.
think there is an idea. I mean, there are certain ways to do that as well,
Mm-hmm.
wherein you just test your ideas out. Like you create certain ads on your ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and you run. Sorry, you create certain creatives on your ideas, and you run ads on those creatives.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are able to like establish certain metrics over there, then probably you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, like in uh, in a yeah, like Google Play maybe doesn't allow you very much, but there could be certain hacks in that direction.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Maybe we can launch Facebook ads somewhere down the line to just
Yeah,
verify things. Yeah,
yeah.
super interesting stuff. I will kind of go on a tangent here, a little bit far from a gaming industry, and I
Yeah.
usually talk about finances here. Like, what's your how is your division of your finances? When it comes to, you get your salary and you divide your salary into some kind of guilt-free spending. You're spending, and this much you invest and save. How's your division of your salary?
Yeah. So I would say basically close to maybe uh, so like if I consider my post tax salary,
Mm-hmm.
uh, probably 30 to 40% would go into your monthly households,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and remaining would go into some other expenses, like probably 20% would go into some other expenses.
Mm-hmm.
I like over past couple of years I started buying a lot of board games, so
Mm-hmm.
every month I would spend some amount of money buying board games or maybe some other game on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
At least like for me, still I would spend like close to 5 6,000 per month on games. uh,
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, I would invest like the remaining 20 30% that is there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How's your division of like investments? Do you invest in stocks particularly, or maybe
Yeah.
mutual funds?
Yeah.
Uh,
I put around, let's say, close to 25 30% in mutual funds every month,
mm-hmm.
and the remaining like 60 70% in certain stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, do you select those stocks, like small cap, mid caps, one, or
Uh, yeah, either I select or like maybe some recommendation from like either friends or families.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the division on stocks as such? Do you have more large caps, mid caps, or small caps?
So right now I do have like close to 80% in mid caps and small caps,
Super
and
risky
my
stuff.
portfolio is bleeding significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think if you are just starting out your investment, it's best to start in some blue chip or large cap stocks.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Like, do you have in when it comes to mutual funds? Do you have investments in index funds, debt funds, or something else?
No, nothing like that right now. I mean that's not something that I understand very well.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll stick to the basics. I'll stick to what I know rather than
Mm-hmm.
like going into those kind of things. Maybe like if I uh, get some, I mean, like one of my goals for 2025 was to, like learn about these like index funds and debt funds.
Mm-hmm.
So probably if I'm able to do that, then I'll think of investing over there.
Mm-hmm. Super interesting stuff. I think a lot of people do not value investing a lot. I've seen a lot of people who do not invest at all. They just save money in their bank accounts.
Yeah.
They're of course taxed every year. But yeah, investing has a lot of power, and I think so everyone should learn about it. When it comes to stocks as such, do you pick the stocks by you have a certain kind of method of picking the stock, like you look at the balance sheets, you look at profits. What do you look at when you're picking stocks?
Uh, I generally, I mean, I try to look at like fundamentally how good a company is.
Mm-hmm.
I generally go to some tool like Screener or something else and
Mm-hmm.
just check for the pros and cons and like the growth and like year on year growth that has been for like last 3 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's mostly what I would look at, like, and then probably rely on some of my friends' expertise.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, Again, investing is super interesting stuff, and I guess everybody should learn about it. Do you have any investment that goes into health insurance and
Yeah,
life
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
insurances?
So I do put like uh, I would say 4 5% of my overall earnings into like uh, mediclaims and insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think people do not value insurances,
Yeah.
and most of them insurances are. seen by a lot of Indians specifically as investments, but there's a lot of difference between these two, and people should learn about it. But yeah, insurance is something necessary, and everybody should have one. If they don't, if their company doesn't provide, please purchase the
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah.
But yeah, and these were all of my questions. And if you have any advice for me or anyone who's listening to this podcast while parting away, that'd be great.
No, I think like this was really interesting for me as well. This was one of my very first podcasts that I have ever done.
Mm-hmm.
So really exciting for me also.
Mm-hmm.
Something new. I myself have like always thought of going into content creation, at least
Mm-hmm.
in like content with regards to games or the gaming industry,
Mm-hmm.
but haven't been able to like kick it off ever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But this was like good. Like hopefully it will inspire me to also
Mm-hmm.
like start creating content in games.
Yeah, I hope for the best. I guess if that works out, please let me know. I'll try to watch them as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Again, thank you for coming on,
Yeah.
and
Thank you, Tish.
yeah, thank you. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And if you did, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. And thank you for watching. For now, this is it. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.